Because we are two fighters.
Yeah, two fighters, but
True fighter.
true, yeah. No, not YouTuber fight.
Huh?
Not YouTuber fighters. Yeah.
They need to talk and talk shit about the fight because they want to say something. The people know we are great fighters. We want to put a great fight. Yeah.
Happened. Canelo Crawford, 13th of September in Las Vegas. Thank you for everyone. Thank you, Canelo. Thank you, Crawford. Thank you, Netflix. Bella. Thank you, Bella. Thank you, all your team in Netflix. Thank you, Nick Khan, TKO. Thank you, Dana.
Canelo Alvarez is preparing for the biggest boxing event of his long and successful career, set to take place in 3 months. On September 13th, he will face pound-for-pound boxing champion Terence Crawford. Alvarez didn't hold back when criticizing the rise of YouTube boxers, calling the trend wrong and highlighting the significance of this matchup. "This isn't a circus, this is boxing at its finest," Canelo said. "We don't need to talk to Crawford or him." Saudi Arabian expert Turki Alashik stepped in between the two fighters and expressed confidence that this bout would break all records and become the greatest in boxing history. It's important to note that Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford have officially signed their contracts for the highly anticipated fight on September 13th. The boxing world watched as the pound-for-pound star sealed the deal for what is expected to be a historic match. The first true super fight between two pound-for-pound professional boxing champions is breaking new ground, streaming live on Netflix, the world's largest platform. Not long ago, Alvarez turned down a deal to fight former YouTuber Jake Paul and instead signed with Turki Alashik to face Crawford. Meanwhile, Paul is set to fight former world champion Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. on June 27th in California. Speaking on the upcoming mega fight, Matchroom CEO Frank Smith called it a monumental moment for boxing, with major players like TKO, Dana White, and Netflix involved. He believes this isn't just one of the biggest fights of the year, but possibly the biggest in the sport today. Smith also noted that while Canelo remains a global megastar, Crawford has elevated his status significantly, especially after his dominant win over Spence. Together, they bring elite skill, star power, and momentum, making this a can't-miss global spectacle.
And you know, obviously with TKO, Dana White involved as well, and Netflix, as you say, it's a massive fight. Probably one of the biggest, if not the biggest fight in the sport. And yeah, it's going to be huge. Vegas, September, massive. Canelo's a superstar of the sport, we all know that. And I think Crawford, in recent times, has shown, you know, he's built himself into a great position, you know, with the Errol Spence fights, etc. And yeah, it's going to be a massive occasion. It's going to be a massive occasion for the sport, and it's great for the sport.
It is widely believed that Canelo will win this fight, but renowned trainer Bullet thinks Terence Crawford will surprise everyone. He even called Crawford a magician in the ring, more skilled than Teofimo or Roy Jones Jr. at their peak. According to Bullet, if you can outbox Canelo over 12 rounds, you have a real chance. He believes Canelo has slowed down and can't move like he used to.
And I think you mentioned Bud was going to beat Canelo?
Yeah, like I said, Bud is a magician, like Teofimo and like Roddy, but just more seasoned than the both of those other two. Bud can do it if anybody can do it. At this age, Canelo's movement and mobility is not the same. He's not engaging like he did before. But I want to advise Bud to stand toe-to-toe with him. I would drag him into a boxing match and see his condition and his movement in the later rounds and try to win him.
There is a warning, Bullet says. Crawford should drag Canelo into a technical battle, test his gas tank, and aim for points rather than a war. Nonetheless, at 168, he understands the risk. Canelo's bone structure and natural size pose serious threats, and Bullet doubts Crawford's strength alone can match up.
If you touch him, yeah, finish him. But I won't take that gamble unless I know it's what's up. But on the pound for pound, rules of the pound for pound at 168, we cannot take a Canelo at 168 lightly against Bud Crawford. You see what I'm saying? Canelo is the kingpin of 68. He may have lost at 75 trying to jump out the gym for greatness. You know what I'm saying? The Skull performance was, Skull is a mover, like Arizona Lara.
Coach Bullet acknowledges Terence Crawford's ability and gives him a fair chance against Canelo, describing it as a true 50-50 fight. However, he's candid. Canelo was born at 168 pounds. It's his natural division, and his size, build, and durability give him a slight edge. Bullet is particularly concerned with bone structure. Canelo has never been dropped, even after facing heavy punchers like GGG. Crawford is strong, Bullet admits, but there are doubts about Bud's ability to hurt a man as physically built as Canelo.
Pound is a real thing. That bone structure is the only thing that's making me go 1% more to Canelo than Bud. You know what I'm saying? So, Bud is strong. They told me, before he fought Earl Spence, Bud's strong. Me, Bomac, and the other trainer was going, saying what we had to say to each other. And, he made a good name for himself fighting Earl Spence. But the world knows that's the C-level Earl Spence that he fought.
Meanwhile, as speculation builds over who will win the crown, Canelo's former opponent Caleb Plant believes Canelo Alvarez isn't the same fighter he once was. Citing Canelo's recent performance against William Skull, Plant pointed out that Canelo struggled with movement and didn't look as sharp as in previous fights. He expected this, especially since Canelo has admitted he dislikes facing opponents who move a lot, something Skull, with his Cuban-style boxing, used effectively.
Canelo over the weekend, did that look like the same type of Canelo you fought a few years ago? And yeah, what'd you think of that?
No, I don't think it's the same Canelo. Not quite, but also I kind of figured it was going to be like that, honestly. I heard Canelo say in the interview, like, I don't really like fighting guys who move around that much like that. And William Skull being a Cuban fighter, like, I knew he was going to do that. And so was curious to see, how Canelo would handle that. And, he kept the ring off well, but that guy I felt like he didn't really want to.
While Plant feels Canelo is aging, which opens the door for Terence Crawford, he also noted that Skull and Crawford have very different styles, making the September bout much more interesting and competitive. Plant believes he could win a rematch with Canelo with a few adjustments, and if Crawford defeats Canelo and captures the 168 title, Plant has stated that Crawford will be on his radar as well. He wants to face the best and is ready to prove it.
Get the job done.
What about Crawford? Do you think his chances got better, at least the way how you were seeing things heading into the last fight with him and Skull?
I think it's a stylistic matchup, and William Skull don't fight nothing like Terence Crawford. So we're not going to see the same type of fight come September. I think we're going to see a great fight, real good fight.
You and Terence have always had like a good relationship, but if he makes Canelo come off the titles, is he on your radar then in the division?
Yeah, all the top super middleweights are on my radar. I want to face the best, and a lot of fighters say that, but I don't feel like a lot of them have shown and proved that. I feel like I've shown and proved that, so I want.
However, analysts are raising concerns about Crawford's side. Without question, he is an excellent boxer, but boxing pundit Stephen A. isn't holding back regarding the Terence Crawford versus Canelo Alvarez fight. In his view, the idea of Bud moving up 3 weight classes and 21 pounds to face Canelo is simply wrong. Referring to Jermel Charlo's failed attempt, he argues the size gap is too much, even for a fighter as gifted as Crawford.
Should be gone. The notion that Terence Bud Crawford should move up 3 weight classes, 21 pounds, to fight Canelo Alvarez. He's entirely too small. Jermel Charlo already proved that. Y'all remember that scene from Rocky? Remember that scene from Rocky 2? When Carl Weathers was Apollo Creed and his trainer was like, can I be honest? I saw you beat this man within an inch of it.
Furthermore, Stephen A. warns that Crawford will pay the price for choosing the wrong opponent, one who is far superior to him. While he acknowledges that Crawford is a fantastic fighter, he insists that Canelo at 168 is too big, too strong, and too dangerous. According to Stephen A., Bud should walk away from the fight before it's too late.
Coming, he wouldn't go away. He's wrong for us, baby. He's wrong. Let it go. Paulo couldn't do it and lost fight number 2. Trained him for fight Rocky 3 and then got killed in Rocky 4 by Drago because he couldn't let it go. Bud Crawford needs to let it go.
Similarly, Terence Crawford has officially begun training camp ahead of his historic fight with Canelo Alvarez. At the UFC facility, Crawford is laser-focused, fine-tuning every detail as he prepares for the biggest fight of his career, which will stream live on Netflix this September. The pound-for-pound star is leaving nothing to chance in his pursuit of greatness. As training camp progresses, Terence Crawford is sharpening his ability to counter Canelo Alvarez's quick punches. He is focused on timing, angles, and defensive movement to stay one step ahead. Known for his ability to adapt mid-fight, Crawford is working on precision footwork and reflex-based counters to neutralize Canelo's signature explosiveness. It's clear that he's not just training physically. With each session, he's also crafting a strategic plan to defeat one of boxing's most dangerous punchers. Terence "Bud" Crawford is focused on swift movement and footwork in camp, while Canelo is known for his explosive hand speed and sharp counters. Crawford is honing his ability to stay elusive, slip punches, and create angles, knowing that disrupting Canelo's rhythm will be key to success. He sees this as more than just another fight, it's a chance to achieve greatness. A victory on September 13th would not only make history but could also solidify Bud's place among the greatest fighters of all time. Furthermore, Crawford is going all in as he prepares to face Canelo Alvarez, the defending super middleweight champion and one of boxing's most iconic figures. Determined to make history, Crawford is training with surgical precision, pushing his body to the limit and refining every aspect of his game. From rapid movement drills to strategic sparring, he's crafting a plan to counter Canelo's power and precision.
That's how you're supposed to start. See how Crawford started. Look at the bounce in his legs. 10 years running as a champion. Everything that he's accomplished, and he still act like this is his first day in the gym. He's excited to be.
With the fight just 3 months away, Crawford knows that solid boxing is the key to overcoming Canelo. That's why he's working tirelessly to refine his strategy, focusing on high IQ, technical skills. Exactly the kind of approach needed to defeat a champion like Canelo.
All these fighters in here. Hey, homie, ask me. I'm gonna help you. Yeah, ask me. You gonna help me?
Meanwhile, Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. believes Terence Crawford is simply outmatched against Canelo Alvarez. In his view, Canelo has been fighting at super middleweight for too long and has become dominant at that weight, something Crawford can't overcome with speed alone. While he acknowledges Crawford's quickness, Chavez Jr. feels Bud lacks the power at 168 to earn Canelo's respect or slow him down.
Canelo es muy fuerte, bueno y grande para Crawford. O sea, el tiempo que él tiene peleando en ese peso, yo Canelo 80-20, 70-30, Canelo, yo no veo de dónde Crawford le puede ganar.
Rapidez de Crawford.
Sí, o sea, rapidez de Crawford, pero no tiene la potencia como para que Canelo lo respete. Parece vamos a...
On the other side, Chavez Jr. gave Canelo a significant advantage, calling it a 70-30 or even 80-20 fight in favor of the Mexican superstar. He acknowledged Canelo's expertise and boxing IQ and was surprised to see someone like Jake Paul publicly backing Crawford. For Chavez Jr., Crawford's skills are unquestionable, but against Canelo at that weight, he simply can't see a path to victory.
Ha hecho su trabajo, es un gran boxeador. Pues tener el apoyo de Canelo es importante. Es bueno, porque así una parte de México y de muchas partes pues me va a apoyar, sus fanáticos que él tiene ya también. Y pues yo no esperaba que apoyara a Jake Paul, Canelo.
As the countdown to September 13th begins, the boxing world waits in anticipation. Will Terence "Bud" Crawford shock the world and rise to greatness? Or will Canelo Alvarez remind everyone why he reigns supreme at 168? This is more than just a fight. It's a battle for history, legacy, and pound-for-pound supremacy. Who has more to lose, Canelo or Crawford? Is Crawford biting off more than he can chew by jumping to 168? Can Canelo handle Crawford's speed and ring IQ? Share your thoughts in the comments below.